Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's another edition of the Intuitive Angel Internet Radio program. Now, I don't know what I was in a past life, but I was rather pushy. I was quite pushy.
I wonder, I always do human past lives, but I wonder if you were in like a manta ray.
A manta ray?
Yeah, pushing people out of the way.
No. I was a paramecium.
A paramecium.
I was rather small. But anyway,
Okay.
But everybody, welcome to the show.
Yeah, welcome to the show. We're very excited that you're here. Hello, everybody who are tuning in now. This show is going to be about past lives. And thanks for everybody who wrote in and everybody who watches on a weekly basis. I'm so excited that you're all here.
We love you.
We love you. Yeah.
We love you. We do.
We really look forward to doing this show and connecting with you, and making sure that you get your readings. We try as hard as we can. We have so many of you asking for readings, and we're really trying hard to get all of the different people on. So we're going to explain a little bit about past lives. You are in three places all the time. You are who you were, you are who you are right now, and you are who you're going to be.
So what it is, what it was, and what it shall be.
That is the key.
All right.
And within each of those, there's where you are, what you were, and what you're going to be. Hello, everybody. So it's not complicated at all, and how you navigate between a past life. Say you had a past life that was harsh, and a life now maybe that you're not joyful about. But what links them all together and helps you to become the best that you can be is very simple. It's love. So when you open your heart to love, when you love the person you were in your past life, when you love the person you were in your current past, when you love the person you are right now, and when you are excited and joyful about the person you're going to be, oh my God, wonderful things happen. So that's what makes it so really exciting to be to hear past life readings. I'm going to explain a little bit about it. You can do a meditation that brings up your past lives so that you can see and have compassion for yourself. There is some evidence to say that you can actually change the past for yourself. Imagine that a wonderful angel came when you were going through something very difficult in this life, okay? So this angel comes, woo, and there's a beautiful white light around you, and your heart is soothed. That's what you can do for yourself in a past life once you identify that life. So it's very easy. With your right hand, you put it on your heart, and then the left hand is down on your belly. And all you do is recline. You want to lay back in a lounge chair or lay down, and you breathe in for a count of 3 and out for a count of 4. So in, 1, 2, 3, and out. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you become aware of your hands going up and down. If you're doing it right, your belly hand will begin to expand, and then the air will go up into your lungs. So first your belly will expand, so it expands down here, and then your heart will expand as your lungs fill with the air. And you just pay attention to that. And then what I do is, if I'm working with you for a particular past life session, as I'm breathing back and forth, I concentrate on what am I seeing, what am I hearing, what am I sensing. So I open up all of my senses to try to get an idea of where I am. Hi there, hi everybody, wow. To try and get an idea of where I am. And then when I get that idea, and frankly, it's pretty easy because you go from year 0, which would be the year of Christ, all the way up to year 20, which is right now. And there'll be a tug or a pull on that particular year. And then you want to say, can I see myself at that time? Was I a male? Was I a female? Was I just a child when this event happened? That's not hurting me, but coloring how I look at things. Because things that have happened in the past, like I had a woman who actually saw Joan of Arc burned at the stake. So she was terrified, I mean, utterly and completely terrified that someone was going to come, rip her out of her house, and tie her to a stake and burn her. She'd been that way since she was a little girl, even though pretty much here in the United States, people don't do that. I mean, every once in a while, but it's not a thing, okay? So she was even afraid to go out of her house because of that. She didn't want to answer the doorbell. They had muted all the doors so that she wouldn't hear a doorbell ring. I mean, it was really serious for her. So by going all the way back there and telling herself that she was privileged, really privileged to be there as a support for the wonderful woman who was Jeanne d'Arc, that it made a difference to Joan of Arc that she was in the audience, that her tears touched her heart and helped her journey. And I do believe that was the absolute truth. And when she knew that, everything changed and she was fine. She realized that we can't understand everything that happens in life. It is a complicated picture painted by someone who we would never be able to understand with our human brains, painted by God, painted by the divine. And so that complicated picture, the beauty of it is it always works out, always to our best. It always teaches us lessons, helps us to evolve, helps civilization to move forward, helps us to understand things. Maybe it saved her from a life of a tyrant. I mean, you don't know. Maybe she, in later lives, was wedded to or had the ear of someone who was very cruel and got him to change. We really don't know, but it's fascinating to find out. So we're going to start with our past life readings, and one of the things we're going to look at, so it's breathing in and out, so you might even feel something yourself as you're breathing in and out. We're going to look at what year, who were you, and then what was the important lesson that you're going to learn. I'm going to use cards for the lesson because we're here on Facebook Live, which is really exciting, but it'll help to jog me in the right direction to be able to tell you what it is that you have to remember now about then, that'll free you then, that'll free you now so that you can go into the future being the best that you can be. Does everybody get that? Good. Because we want you all to be happy and joyful. That's the goal of life. Okay.
You know what would make me joyful?
What?
Could you scoot this way just a hair? There you go. I worked very hard on that song.
If you want to get hold of us, that sign over there, if you'd like a past life reading, that's going to be our special for next month. We're going to be doing past life readings for just $1 a minute. So other readings are $75 or they're $40 for a half an hour. And so our special is past life readings. So if you'd like a personal one and you'd like 3 or 4 past lives that are affecting you now, just give us a call, 630-554-5040.
And we're also still running the special. That's right. If you get at the regular price, if you get a half-hour reading at $40 or a full-hour reading at $75,
yes,
be it by phone, Skype, or in person here in Oswego, Illinois, you of course you get your choice of for half an hour. You get a choice.
You didn't bring the prop.
I'll be quiet. I'm sorry.
Amy's deep sea mud mask.
Delicious, beautiful mud mask right there.
We're gonna be 70.
All right. Or do you have it on?
I don't.
Darn it.
Darn it.
Okay, I'll bring them later.
A chakra bracelet.
All right, chakra bracelet. If you get the half hour, you have a choice of one of those. It's a 3-pack.
3 packs of 3 different chakra bracelets. Or if you take the whole hour, you get Amy's Dreamy Dead Sea Mud Mask, and you get 3 bracelets.
It's a $30 value.
I
man.
know, it's exciting.
But the fun is priceless. All right, let's do some past life reading.
Yes.
All right. First of all, we have Karen Murray. She was born March 22nd, 1981, somewhere out there in Oklahoma, and she says thank you.
Okay. The number that comes up it's Karen, right?
Yes.
For Karen is 17, so that means that she would be in the 17th century, this particular life that is influencing her right now. In the 17th century, she was a woman, but also a lady. I do believe that in the 17th century, she was French. And how do I know? Well, when you open up the doorway, the information just floods in. So she was French. At that time, I think that France was in somewhat of a turmoil. I might be a little bit off historically, but she was very much trying to keep the protocols, the niceties of France at that time. So she would have been a lady, maybe a lady in waiting, and her job was to always be as perfect as possible because manners were very important then. So right now in our society, well, clearly from the top down, manners don't really mean all that much, and we're exploring what is truth, what's relative truth, what do people say? Do they have to be held to an incredible standard of absolute truth? Like if I look at you and I say, oh, look at you, Anne-Marie, Mary Beth, you're so beautiful and radiant today, except of course for that little spot on your tooth, and then there's the sagginess under your chin, and then you really could use a dye job. Now that's the truth. You look radiant today is kind of like relative truth.
She could use some mud mask.
Yeah, well, no. So Karen Marie, the thing that you're learning right now, and so we have the card. Let's see. It's to be in stillness, to know when to be silent. Gee, that's really important. So, in other words, don't over-explain yourself. Back in France in that lifetime, you had to do so much explaining. You were so wedded to the rules at that time, and if somebody was deviating from the rules, you had to explain exactly why they had to keep the rule, even though you might not have believed in the rules. So your job is to let the rules slip away from you and be silent about what you're feeling and experiencing. So from all the way from the French court to now, everything is going to change once you learn to just be silent and to watch everything around you and learn from it. Okay, take care, Carrie Marie. Okay.
Geez, Amy, that was pretty cool.
That's the way it works.
I like that. That was neat. Okay, thanks a lot, Karen. Next up, we have Jamie. She was born in Orland Park, Illinois. She says, thanks, you guys are great. And her birthday is May 10th, 1961.
Okay, Jamie. You're in Spain, and it's right around the time when Columbus was there, leaving to find the New World, or a better trade route, actually. I do see that you're a woman. You're standing on the deck. On the dock, I can actually smell fish. So that it probably, I don't know this, that the port that Columbus left from was probably a fishing port, that it wasn't just a transferring of goods. You could look that up and find out if I'm right. In any case, Jamie, you're standing there. You have on a dress that's not homespun. In other words, it's richer. It has some silks. So in it, I can tell that it's shiny, and your waist is little, so you've been cinched. You have a corset on, and you're saying goodbye to the person who's getting onto the boat. So I think that I don't think you were having a relationship with Columbus, but I do think that you were having a relationship with one of the sailors that was on the boat. And the funny thing here is that you're saying goodbye, but not tearfully. In a lot of ways, I think you might have had another boyfriend waiting in the wings, and you were happy that your husband was leaving. This set up guilt for you, and I do believe a lot of the people didn't return. So you set yourself up to be guilty about how you were feeling. Sometimes we feel things, and we're not necessarily always held accountable for what we're feeling. What I'm trying to say is, if you felt something and you were trying to be as honest as you could, you need to forgive yourself. So let's see what the card says here. This says you have to renew your life. You have to forgive yourself. You have to say that by being in present time and by loving yourself, you can drop the burden that you've been carrying. And so this would be a silent burden that would make you always feel guilty about everything. So you can drop that guilt you can know that you were doing the best you could in a society that really didn't allow women to be open-minded or to speak their truths, and that you absolutely had nothing to do with your husband's death as an adventurer, and that his leaving you alone was just part of the journey, all right? It was just the way it was. We never talk about the human price of the adventurers, do we? We don't ask that question. But there was, and so you were one of the people that had that. So right now you might be afraid. If people leave you, you might not like it. You might think that they'll get hurt. You might not like your family to travel. You might not like anybody to take risks because you're going to be worried that somehow it's going to be your fault. You might take responsibility for things that aren't your fault, and you have to stop it. When you do, it's going to be amazing, because instead of throwing this box over the cliff, you're going to open it up and you're going to discover a whole new you full of strength and love and compassion. Take care, Jamie.
All righty, very good, Amy. You're very nice. By the way, what we were talking about before, these beautiful
Chakra bracelets.
Chakra bracelets. Yellow, what color is that, Amy?
A yellow is for the third chakra. It's for manifestation, money. I wear them when I'm trying to...
I will wear this always.
When I'm trying to pay the bills.
Or Amy's Dead Sea Mud Mask with coffee elixir.
There you go.
It's backwards, but that's what it says. And it's a big package, too, so you get lots of applications.
You do. You get about 6 applications out of a package.
Well, cool, man.
Okay.
All righty, so that's what you get if you get either a 30-minute reading or a full hour reading. You get both of them.
Okay.
If you call 630-555-5040. I did radio for years and years. This is still my first try at TV. It's fun.
Okay.
All righty.
That's until the end of this, end of January through the 31st. If you book now into February, you can still get those prizes. But then February special is past life reading for $60.
Okay. All righty. All righty. How about Steve?
Okay.
June 26, 1979. Langhorne, I want to say Illinois. It doesn't give me a state, but...
Okay, Steve. This is very cool. I think we're going to go back with you up until about 1850. If you wonder how I do it, I kind of like spin an imaginary wheel in my head, and then it comes and it stops. You can do the same thing. You can imagine a scale, and so you put the question on the scale, and the scale goes from 0 to 20, so that would be into the 20th century. And then you just, when it stops, when it evens out, that's the time you're going to be looking. In this case, I think it was about the 1850s, and I think at that time, I can see there's a number 13, so I believe, Steve, that you had 13 children. I also believe that your family, although you loved them dearly, and you well, certainly you loved your wife, it wasn't the most important thing in the world to you. What the most important thing in the world was discovering new things. So you were always an adventurer, always somebody who was off trying the next new thing. You probably have a lot of that in this lifetime. You probably enjoy opening the doorway to many new things, having multiple things that you're interested in. You might be interested in aliens or finding hidden treasure. So at that time in the 1850s, I believe that you went down to the Gulf of Mexico looking for Spanish treasure. So it means you left behind everybody with the idea that you would better everybody by finding this treasure. And indeed, I do think that you were somewhat successful. I think that you could probably historically link yourself to someone with 13 children. I think there'd be records somewhere. And you could see exactly what kind of treasure hunting you did. So you might be able to find yourself historically. When it's after the 1800s, that is possible. I have lots of clients find themselves. So you were somewhat successful. You came back with some golden doubloons, but the problem was that there's the adventure part and then there's the work part. And the work part you weren't prepared for. So the adventure part was fun and you were able to bring back something and take care of your family. The work part, or sticking it out or being there, was not your forte. So that means that what is your lesson that you're trying to learn? trust your intuition. That's beautiful, isn't it? So it means to trust your intuition, and that it wasn't bad at all to go out looking for treasure. Trust your intuition. Go out and allow yourself to break with the norm. And you'll always be okay. You didn't hurt your family. As a matter of fact, you helped them. And even if it didn't work out that you discovered billions of dollars worth of treasure, you did discover some. So look for the treasure that's buried in your current life and have a good time doing it. Take care, Steve.
All right. Thank you, Steve. We appreciate it, man. All right. Moving on down. Let's see. We have Pamela.
Okay.
All right. She was born July 1st, 1955 in Chicago. She says, I love your radio show on Facebook, or I love your show on Facebook, excuse me. I enjoy seeing the cards as Amy explains her reading. It is so interesting. She says, I did not get her 2017 rating, but would greatly appreciate a past life reading on our show if possible. Thank you so much, and I look forward to your show. Well, thank you, Pamela.
Okay, Pamela.
Give her a good one.
It is what it is, Dave.
Okay.
I see the year 1200. I think it was a time you were probably Flemish. You may have some DNA background, so you could actually prove that, because I think past lives can be kind of archetypical, or they can be actually DNA based. Okay, so in your case, I believe this was DNA based. I think that you're a progressive thinker. I think at the time you were a very progressive thinker. You were a woman, and you were also an artist. So the way you were depicting life was very different than the way that was acceptable to depict life as an artist. Instead of doing very flat kind of sketches, you were experimenting with light and shadow and roundiness, and for some reason you got off on representing goddesses, which wasn't particularly favorable at the time, but you absolutely loved the roundiness of women. I don't get that there was you were gay or anything like that. I just think you loved nature, and you felt that nature wasn't flat and that nature was juicy. So you may still feel that way right now. You might not like flat things. You might not like television for that matter. You may like to play with tactile things. You might if you haven't, you might want to play with clay and try to sculpt. It would be right in your heart. It would be something that you would be just naturally really good at. And let's see what your card says. Your card says, I embrace life's boundless possibilities. So I'm telling you, Pamela, go out there and embrace crazy stuff. Go get some sculpting clay. Now we can play around with 3D photography. That's really pretty cool. Or virtual reality things. The world is your oyster, and use it to bring all your creative abilities into the now, so you don't feel stifled by the society that you're in. Okay, take care, Pamela.
All right. Thank you very much, Pamela. We appreciate it. Okay, next up we have Judy.
Okay.
All right. She was born April 8th, 1962 in Weehawken, New Jersey. She says thank you.
Oh, Judy. I get year 0, which is interesting, and that's on the Christian calendar. It actually comes out as minus if we're going even beyond the time of Jesus.
Well, BC, right?
Well, it's 0. It's right at the time of Christ.
Okay.
So probably year 33. Okay, right around that time. However, instead of saying that you walked with Jesus, I think you were in Egypt, because there's a lot of pyramids and Egyptian iconography and things like that. I see amazing books all around you, stacks of papers between like boards. So I don't know how the books were arranged at the Library of Alexandria, but you might have a real interest in education, in learning from the time you were little. You might not like traditional education, but you want to know why. The important thing for you that I'm going to tell you right now is the journey is not to find out what something is. The journey is to find out why something is. So if you find something exciting, like drink tomato juice and it helps inflammation, okay? You want to go beyond that and think of all the other things tomato juice might do for you besides inflammation. Why do we bother to drink it? When did it come into being? And take a subject and explode it rather than think you know everything about it. See if you can take something that you take for granted every day, like milk comes in a carton, and see why exactly, and where does it come from, and where are the farms, and how far away is it, blah, blah, blah. So you want to take that need to explore and understand, and you want to upgrade it, so that it includes life, the universe, and everything. And let's see what your card says. It says, I fully embrace the bliss in my life, and it shows somebody who's embracing the universe. So that's what I'm telling you. Once you do that, your frustration will melt away, because I think you had some frustration, because it was right around when you were in this past life that the Library of Alexandria was burned. So your opportunity to discover the things you wanted to went away. But now we have another chance. So you have another chance, and let me know what you figure out. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Judy. We appreciate it. Candace is next.
Okay.
She's from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the city that Schlitz made famous. She was born, August 29th, 1952. She says, thanks. I love hearing you every Wednesday.
Oh, I'm so glad. Hi, Candace.
Okay.
All right.
There you go.
So this is very interesting, because the past life that's operating with you is actually very specific, 1913. It may be that at that time your real life relatives came over to the United States, or there was a decision that was made to come here to the United States. I see that it's very important to you to be in community. I think being in community is really what saved everybody, what kept everybody alive and happy. But the problem is that you're not one to always go with the community. They get, for you, they become kind of dusty. You need new adventures. And some people are meant to go out and have an adventure, then bring it back to the community. What you do is you uplift everybody. So let's see what your card says here. And it says, aha, share of yourself. Go have adventures and then come back and share. I love how this works. So when you go out and you find things out, come back not to explain to everybody that they were wrong. That probably is not going to work for you. But you want to come back and explain to people the possibilities that you unearthed. And when you do that, they're going to flock to your door. And I think you were meant, you're here in this lifetime to be a leader of innovation and new ideas. So never too late. So take care, and if I can help you, just let me know. Okay?
All right. Thank you, Pamela. We appreciate it so much.
No. Okay.
Was that Pamela?
No, I don't think so.
My goodness, it was Candace. I'm so sorry, yeah. Candace. That's why Amy does these and not me. Okay, sorry about that.
Okay.
All right. Now, this next person we're going to do, this is an old friend of ours, Amy.
Okay.
And I hope she's watching. I looked at the thing. I didn't see if she was watching, but I know she'll watch the rebroadcast. This is our good friend, Mary Burgess.
Oh, Mary.
And I was thinking about her today. And, she travels the world basically doing good deeds.
She does.
She's a good deed. She's a good deed doer. And generally a good egg. So I just wanted to say, hi, Mary.
Hi, Mary.
She's really cool, and we love her. And good for you, Mary. She says, of course, I would value a past life reading and hope it is one I have not seen. One can always learn more about why I do things now for a reason and how to grow from it. Absolutely. Mary's birthday was June 10th, 1950. She's from Chicago.
Okay. Every once in a while, there's a duality playing. So you have a past life in 1594, very specific, but that past life needs to be corrected because you're going to have a life in 2094. Maybe you'll just still be alive. Who knows? With medical science changing. But in any case, those two lives are really linked. I think it has something to do with maps. I think in 1594 you were a gentleman, and part of your job was to be a cartographer, and that you took off from south of Italy someplace, so what would that be, Sicily, and went on a voyage to see the South Pole. I do believe you could find yourself, because there are still some of these maps. What cartographers did in the past is, when they didn't really know, they used to write on the map, "There be dragons there," but you didn't take that. You really wanted to know what exactly it was that was there. So down deep inside of you, you have some hidden knowledge about the South Pole. So in this lifetime, it might be percolating in you. That's maybe one of the reasons you traveled, because you want to unearth that memory of what you saw, because it's going to help us, not right now, but in 2094, which is very, very interesting. So let's see what the card is here. It says, simplify your life. So it's simplifying everything, cleaning out the stuff so you're free, so that you can do what it is you need to do. If I were you, I'd start saving my money, and I'd see if I can't do a lot of research into map making and who you were in that past life, and what you can do right now to discover, to help all of us in 2094. Okay, take care, Mary.
All right. Thank you, Mary. We appreciate it. Carrie's next. Okay. December 13th, 1971. She's from Richmond, Virginia.
And it's Carrie with a K?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Carrie with a K. You have a much lighter life. You were in the 1800s in London, so I think it was 1888 to be specific. In 1888, there was a real movement for performers. In general, women were never performers. Men took all the roles of women in plays and things, but there was a whole underground movement of entertainers that included women. So you were an entertainer. Your job was to look at the world in just that little different slant, so that you could make people laugh at their foibles. Is that how you say it, Dave?
Foibles.
I don't know how to say it. Look at their actions. Okay. So you have a sardonic and witty way of looking at the world, which probably in our society, our puritanistic U.S. society right now, was not encouraged. So as a child, you probably said things that made your mother just roll her eyes. But you have to look at the things that are happening to you, not from a victim standpoint or from a mean standpoint, but you have to move the lens so you can see the humor in it. Like, why, for instance, why would somebody act like a boss, act so badly at work that they make their whole entire life miserable? Why would they want to do that? You know, it's not like they go home hopping and skipping after they've tortured you. It doesn't work that way. So why wouldn't they want to be more congruent? And how can you make a joke out of it? What can you say? So you might not think of yourself as funny now, but if you start writing little things down that come to you, it'll be amazing. And let's see what your card says. It's cherishing yourself. Love and accept yourself. So go ahead and love that comedian inside of you, and then come back and make us all laugh. Take care.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yes. Go to the second city. Learn. Okay.
All righty. Next up, we have Annie.
Okay.
October 24th, 1965, from Flora, Illinois.
Okay, Annie. This is really interesting. It's in the 1300s sometime. You are in Portugal, and in the 1300s in Portugal, there was a movement to discover the truth about Catholicism, the truth about religion. I know we think that everybody just believed, right? But no, there were the Cathars, there were all kinds of different people who were coming up with new ideas to augment Christianity. It was a time of turmoil. There were things like where they were killing everybody for thinking, the heretics for thinking differently. But you had an overwhelming desire to know the true Jesus. So you might actually still have that overwhelming desire, or this lifetime you may have allowed yourself to not have a lot of belief because you don't want to be hurt. I don't really think that's going to honor you. You might have to go back to your roots and seek out real love, historical love. And again, you might want to use when we say the name Jesus or Buddha or Muhammad, all of the little bricks that we were taught fall into place, and it creates a wall around these characters so that we don't really know them. We know what everybody else says we should know, but we don't really know them. And you have this ability to find the true essence of people who've taught us, and then the true essence of their teachings. And I know that sounds really, really deep, but you might just want to do some meditations and then write down what comes to you, because in my book, they're talking through you. So your card is revealing your radiance. Being able to do that meditation, opening up your hands and then seeing the messages that are coming through, and then share them. I mean, I have 3 books waiting to be published right now where I share, and you certainly can share too. You have that ability. You're a natural channel. Okay, take care.
All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate it so much. Okay, next up, that was Annie. Okay, next up we have Tina. And she's from Linton, Indiana.
Okay.
And she was born November 27th, 1966.
Okay, Tina. This is really fun. I believe that you were born on an island. I see your skin as kind of more cocoa colored, so I would say probably the South Seas rather than up by the Inuits. On the island, you really have, every day, you have the joy of swimming. There's an inlet, and you swim in the inlet. And that joy permeates every fiber of your being. You may feel really upset in this lifetime that you can't quite find that joy. And one of the reasons is you're going to find it in water. Now, a long time ago, a very wise man told me, I was telling him, he wanted me to meditate by water, and I said, there's no water near me at that time, and I just don't know if I can do it. And he looked at me and he said, Amy, sit next to toilet. Wasn't that funny? It had never occurred to me that he meant any water. Just fill a bowl with water and be with the water. And he just thought I was so silly for even asking the question. So that's what I'm telling you. It doesn't make any difference. You can take a cup of water and set it in front of you and just contemplate all the properties of water and what it means to you and how it brings joy, and it's going to be just fine. And here's your card. Your card is rising above. If you can possibly move near water, by water, have a pond in your backyard, keep a fountain around, you will see that it will greatly increase your joy. And this character, she's also coming out of a lotus, which is one of the things that grows in ponds or in still waters. So the beautiful lotus blossom, if you bring water into your life, you will unveil that joy you had in the past life and bring it forward into the future. Take care, Tina.
Okay, thank you, Tina. We appreciate it.
Hey.
Okay, who else do we have? We have, let's see, Kim.
Okay.
August 15th, 1953, from Independence, Missouri.
Okay, Kim. Let's see, what year is it? The reason I'm shaking my head is 2014 came up, but that was just a couple years ago. So that's not very past lifey. Let's see if we can do it again. I get it. Okay. You're reliving now, it began in 2014, something that happened in the century, the 12th, well, it would be the 11th century, the 12th century, okay? So something that happened, like, say, in 1214. In 1214, it had something to do with animal husbandry. So I don't know if you've had anything to do with farming or you have anything to do with food at all, but you discovered something about animals and about their intelligence, and instead of I read a book once where if in society we have to eat so much, if we're vegetarians, it's arduous to get enough food. So society began eating meat because it was easier to get protein, okay? And so it may be that the animals around you at that time were your pets, and that the general consensus was that we were going to eat our pets, and it was going to make us better, smarter people. And you might not have liked that back in the year 12, 14, and then it came to a head in 2014. So you may be playing around with being a vegetarian, you may see cute kittens on Facebook, and you may have turmoil in your heart about eating another animal. So what you need to do is understand why that turmoil is there. Why is it that you're feeling this way? And not demonize anything, but just understand, and then do research into something like the angel is helping me saying super protein, which I have no idea what that is, but it's vegetable. So you might look into super proteins. You might look at a way so that you couldn't change it back in the 12th century because it was the way it was going. But now you actually can make a difference because you can point people in the right direction. But first your heart has to point you in the right direction. Let's see what your card says. I savor the wonders of the world. In other words, you really love knowledge and travel and understanding how things work in the world. So fix it. Help me to be a better vegetarian. Okay, take care.
You're not a vegetarian.
You know, it's the funniest thing, Dave, but although I was a vegetarian, a vegan actually, a long time ago, and I did it so poorly that my hair fell out. Honestly, I didn't eat anything.
Oh. Okay.
I was like down to like 90 pounds. I was the kind of person who'd go to McDonald's and order a burger with no burger, hold the burger, just the pickles, you know, and the lettuce.
Oh, my God.
I know, and I got so sick. It was terrible. And then my friends did an intervention and like force-fed me meat. That's the truth. Actually, shrimp. And then I had such a hard time because my digestive tract wasn't used to assimilating the protein. And then I went back to being average, not normal, but average. And lately, it's been tagging in my brain that I have to figure out a way. You see, did you see the pig on Facebook doing the puzzle? He was like working a jigsaw puzzle. That really got me. I don't know. So there you have it. So maybe there's a bunch of us who are waking up. Okay, next. Dave goes, oh no, I'm never going to get meat again. You can eat meat, I don't care. Get out.
Pork chops for dinner.
I know, I'm not saying I'm there yet.
It's the truth. Okay, next up we have Debbie.
Okay.
Debbie was born September 7th, 1955 in Aurora, Illinois.
Okay. Oh, this is a good one. This is the year 600 AD, and I know where you were. I know that you were on the island of Malta. How cool is that? Because I've stood there on that island. And not just on the island of Malta, but off to the side of the island of Malta is an island of Gozo, G-O-Z-O, so you can actually look it up. And there on Gozo, they have arguably the oldest temple in the world, much older than Stonehenge. And you were one of the remaining goddess people. You were one of the people who followed, I guess what you would call the old ways. And one of the things that you were very much against was the religious people who had come to settle the main island of Malta. It was a place that said that St. Peter came and began, and a lot of the knights Templar came to seek refuge on the island of Malta. So they actually hurt and really terrorized the people. And in the name of Jesus. And so you escaped to this island, and you have a secret trove of goddess knowledge in your heart that you wanted to keep secret. You don't want anybody to know. And I can see why, because why would you want to share when people have acted so badly? But there's a growing number of people around you who are awakening, and you have to begin to share. It's so important. And your card says embracing the future, and you see there's a doorway, so don't be afraid to walk through the doorway and to begin sharing what you know. A good way to start is to get a book on goddess culture. You can get a book on actually Malta or Gozo, and kind of understand where you were. To take a trip there would be worth your while because I think it would bring back those latent memories for you. So it's not impossible to get there. It's right in the Mediterranean, just south of Italy. So going through that doorway, you're going to embrace a whole new life in this lifetime. And don't be thinking that you're too old. There's this awakening thing that's happening. It's like a swath of energy coming over us where it doesn't make any difference if you're in your 20s or if you're in your 70s. All of a sudden there's this awakening that's happening, and we have to go ahead and accept it, and then we have to share. So I'm really excited for you. Okay.
All righty. Thank you, dear Debbie. We appreciate it. Joanne's next, March 28th. You know what March 28th is, don't you?
Could it be your birthday?
No, it's the day before my birthday. 1952 is the year she was born. She's from Stevens Point, Wisconsin.
Okay, let's see Joanne. Joanne, West Coast of the United States, actually Washington State, so we know exactly when, right around 1812. So I believe you got there. I see a ship. You might have actually been Chinese. I think a lot of workers came in that were Chinese at that time in and around Seattle, Washington. And you were not, we often think that the people were slaves, and I do believe some of them were, but in your case you were adventuresome. You came because you wanted to see the world and see what was happening, and you still have that adventuresomeness inside of you. At that time, you were very much involved in, let's see here, it's lumber, which is really weird. So you might still have a liking for trees. I think you were very interested in the different types of trees that were available, as opposed to in China where you were, or they're saying Taiwan, where you were from. The variety and what could be done and the kinds of carvings. So you actually turned something that could have been negative into something that was amazing, because some of your carvings still exist to this day. So you might want to look at ancient wood carvings, well, not ancient, but old wood carvings from the state of Washington done by the immigrants who came there. I think they might even be in some kind of a museum or something, so you can actually locate yourself. And let's see what your message for right now is. This is really interesting. I open my soul to grace. It means that the art that you did then and the research into the materials of the art is still humming in your soul. And you may have gotten too wrapped up in the materialistic world that we're in right now. And so there always might be this idea that you don't have the right tools at hand, but all you have to do is open yourself up to the grace, and you'll see the tools around you, and you're going to start something amazing. Okay, take care.
All righty.
All right.
Okay, next up we have, let's see, it's Stevie.
Okay.
She says, hi guys.
Hi, Stevie.
She's originally from Dixon, Illinois. April 30th, 1980 is when she was born.
Okay, Stevie.
She's just a pup.
Yes, she is. But she has a very old soul. She's the first BC person. So she's like 1400 BC. Wow, Stevie, that's a long one. She's part of the Phoenicians. And so the Phoenicians, not just the male Phoenicians, but all Phoenicians, had this idea that the world was to be explored. So, Stevie, if you can't exactly stay still, or don't really want to stay still, don't want to do the normal things that your relations would want you to settle down, get married, have children, get a job, all those kinds of things, it's because you have this overwhelming desire to explore. You might want to find a kind of a profession that allows you to explore, when Dave and I were in Alaska, they hired a lot of younger people to be guides. So they were guides up in the Alaskan rainforest.
Oh yeah, they were all recruited from Salt Lake City in that area.
Right, and you can actually go up online and say Alaskan tour guides and find out. So your mother's going to kill me, Stevie, but you might want to go up there because it's a way to go travel, have incredible adventures, and get paid. How nice is that? And live other places and learn about other people because it's like in your DNA. So your thing is being in the flow of the universe. So it shows a ship that's flying through the universe. So Stevie, love yourself, have adventures, and come back and tell us all about them. Okay.
All righty. Hey, I'm looking at the comments here.
Yeah.
And let's see. We have one. Let's see. Who is this from? This was from Kim.
Okay.
And Amy was spot on. Oh, how I enjoy your show.
Oh, thank you.
Isn't that cool? That's really cool. And we also want to send out a shout out to our good buddy Frank, who I didn't get all the details, but I believe he had surgery here recently.
On his foot.
Okay, but he's home recovering. So just a shout out to Frank. Good luck at the docks tomorrow.
And I want to tell you, Frank, your wife tattled on you. Stay off your foot.
Hey, dude.
Hey,
Okay.
dude, don't walk on that foot.
Okay, all right, okay. How about this one? How about Elijah? This is interesting.
Okay.
Elijah was born September 16th, 2011.
Elijah, how cool is that?
From Winfield, Illinois. He is definitely an old soul, I'm sure.
Okay. Elijah, I see it's around 1893, and you're in Africa. You are doing some work, and you're actually young then too, which is interesting. Your parents were archaeologists, so you may have a very strong interest in archaeology. If not that, then human anthropology, understanding where we all came from. And I see you with a lion. How interesting is that? The lion is your friend, contrary to what everybody believed was possible. Now, don't go playing with lions, please. But you understood the lion and the lion understood you. I'm not reliving the Lion King, I promise. But you have an affinity for animals in their normal habitat. So you understand how they think and what happens to them, even at your age. As a matter of fact, you could even tell me what to do about the coyotes. You'd make a great zoologist, but I really think in the future you want to carry on with that work. I see that you went back to England because you were English, and you graduated, got married, and always intended to go back to Africa, but then never were able to. So you might have a real desire to learn more about Africa, and I'm sure your mom can get you a bunch of good books on that, and then a lot about animals and about how animals work in the wild. So let me see what your card says about this lifetime. Interesting. It says, believe in magic. Magic does happen. So you can live a whole lifetime, not be able to accomplish what you wanted, reincarnate, and then have the magic of doing what you intended to do in the first place. Take care, Elijah.
Okay, thank you, man.
Okay.
All righty, next up we have, this is a cool one. Hello, Amy. I would like a past life reading. This is cool.
Okay.
Is from Bethany. She was born June 14th, 1990 in Chicago. Thank you so much, she says.
Okay.
This is cool.
Cool. Well, Bethany, it is cool.
It is cool.
What can you say?
It is cool. We agree.
So in your case, on Vancouver Island in Canada, they have a refuge where I got to actually see actual bears up close. Bears are really dangerous, just so that you know. So if you have a bear hanging around your deck, don't go outside to shush it away. They account for many, many deaths in Alaska even to this day. However, in your case, I think you were a native, a Canadian, I forget, they have a cool name for it, real people, righteous people, something like that. But anyway, the Canadians say that the people who were people of the land of Canada, you were one of them, and one of the things that you could do was you had ties to a bear tribe. So the Ojibwe are thought of to be a bear tribe. I don't know about the Vancouver tribes, but I do know about the bears, so you had something to do with bears. You may have in your heart a feeling that you want to keep nature safe. That may be very important to you. I would stay away from political things about keeping nature safe, but come up with ways that you can help and protect animals. What you can do to assure that they have their natural habitat. And I think you're going to come up with amazing things that are going to convince people that they have to pay attention to it. Otherwise, for instance, if you shush the bears away, something might happen to the waters that run down into the United States, and there's going to be a real problem. And so I think you'll be able to see it. You have that kind of mind, and you'll be able to articulate it so people listen to you. So let's see what your card says. Breaking barriers. So you're going to be able to break the barriers of understanding and help people to understand what you always have known in your heart. Take care.
All righty. Thank you very much there. We appreciate it so very much.
Okay.
So very much. Next up, who do we have? We have Melissa.
Okay.
She's from Jamaica, New York, June 17th, 1969. And she says, thank you.
Okay, Melissa, I see horses all around you. Now, I realize that probably in Jamaica, New York, there's not that many, although there may be. But these are more like the English horse races where they jump over things. You may have, oh, I know, okay, it's coming. In the early 1800s, you were one of the elite. Your family had horses, but you became very entranced with breeding. In other words, how could you get a horse that was fearless, that had heart? Right now it might translate itself into horse movies or horse books or loving horses or having horses around, but it was much more in the 1860s, and as a woman, you were a woman, they thought of you kind of like a horse whisperer or somebody who understood things that nobody else did. They thought of it as magical, but actually you were quite scientific in understanding how the traits were passed on from one horse to another. So if you're not doing that right now, you may have an understanding of how to create a better place, a better environment, give people more tools to be better, just like you did with the horses back then. And let's see what your card is. It says, I'm strong, vigilant, and courageous, and it's a horse. I'll go figure. So, and that's really cool. Okay, so I would, if I were you, even if you're not having anything to do with horses, I would explore horses, understand about horses, and then see how it applies to your work right now. I mean, you could even be working in computers, but something about horses and their courage and how they act is going to impact what you're doing right now. It's important. Okay, take care.
Okay, thank you, dear. Hey, real quick, we got a call from we got a message here from Elijah's mom.
Okay, Elijah's mom.
And it's Monica, and she says his middle. You were saying he was so lion-hearted and stuff. His middle name is Leonard.
Oh wow, I love that. So, that's amazing.
So, and yeah, she says we always said Elijah would be strong like a lion's heart. Absolutely,
and let him understand nature. See if he doesn't take to it. If you get a book about lions and their natural habitat, I think you'll be amazed.
All righty.
Okay.
Okay, and you know who's next?
Who?
It's actually this person who I was looking at the comment section here, and she was like, hoping please me. And she was right here. She's next.
Okay.
Right there. I'm not lying. Okay, Katie.
Okay.
January 13th, 1967. Either Chicago or Willowbrook. I'm not sure. We'll say Willowbrook.
Okay, Katie. Let me take that. So having my hand on my heart and on my belly and breathing, it comes the number 16. So we're looking at the 1600s. And then I see a printing press. Isn't that exciting? So I believe that you were in, where? England. But not as your country of origin. I think your country of origin was probably Germany. And you were very involved in printing. I do believe you were a man at the time. You may still to this day be involved in looking at the kinds of type you use on the computer, because inventing fonts and creating fonts is still a kind of a noble profession. You had something to do with the way we read right now, and I think there was a tie. You were maybe one of the first people to print leaflets or to do printed things that also had pictures on them, so that people who were illiterate could see the meaning of it. They might see a picture of a man hanging or a picture of a dollar bill on a flyer that meant that there was going to be a bounty. You had something to do with that. So communication would be your thing. I mean, you would be really, really good at it. And it's very complicated right now, because what with social media and this and that and all different kinds of ways to communicate with people and to draw people in, you would be almost, that angel just said, at a genius level in this, if you allow yourself to be. So you might want to start, there's all kinds of free courses you might want to start, or if you're already doing it, know that you're exactly where you should be, because your whole point back in the 1600s was to get information across to people. And let's see what your card says. It says, I accept and embrace my inner majesty. Isn't that beautiful? So your job is to get correct information across to people, be able to communicate across all kinds of lines, and open doorways for people to understand the world they live in. Take care.
All right, there you go, Katie.
Okay.
Okay, next up we have Molly.
I could use marketing help, Katie. Okay, Molly, what does Molly say?
What?
No, Dave's my marketer, and I love him.
Hey, are you tuned in? Then it worked.
Okay.
Keep quiet. Okay. Okay, Molly's next.
Okay, Molly.
She was born May 8, 1978, 7:08 a.m., and her hometown is Washington Courthouse, Ohio, although she says she doesn't claim it, LOL. She lives in Asheville now. She says, wow, you guys are getting busy, and it's great to be able to see you, even if it's only on a screen. Love you guys. Happy 2017, and many blessings to you both. Well, back to you, Molly.
We have to have like a giant fun fest or something where we all come together and we just talk and laugh and share a glass of wine. Wouldn't that be nice?
That's every Wednesday at 7 on Facebook Live.
No. I mean, like in person. So we
Oh,
all hug
okay.
each other.
Wow.
Okay, Molly. Back in the Wild West, so we're looking at late 1700s, early 1800s. So I'm going to say 1812. Things were changing. The egocentric white male idea of being the center of the universe. If you ever look at the church, they have the man in the center, and then all these things around them, and then somewhere way far away, women. That was beginning to change, and actually women were making the difference. So women who were journalists or reporters or people who people paid attention to, I think they would have called them teachers or educators back in those days, were actually traveling, and they were along with the men and cataloging what was actually happening, which was not a pretty thing, because the Indian lands were being taken, the trains were being built across the land. Maps were being made. So you were someone who helped to chart the journey from the East Coast to the West Coast. That was your job. So right now, that charting the journey would be your job too. It might be charting the journey to more enlightened use of energy, charting the journey to not wasting, charting the journey to being able to better communicate with each other. So you have to pick one of those and then stick with it and know that the information that you're giving everybody, both good, like, oh, this is the way to go, and not so good, this is what happens when you don't go that way, and being balanced about it is something that's your job. And then your card is, oh, that's nice, deep inner knowledge emerging from within you. The same template you used back then is the same template you can use now, and you can tell your past self, who I think sometimes got sad because things weren't working, that you're using it now, and that everything your past self discovered is very, very valuable and helpful to you now, and that will greatly lighten your heart because you can talk to your past self, you really can, and you can make it easier for your past self so that now your current self feels that lightness of being. So take care, Molly.
All right. Thank you, Molly. We appreciate it.
Is that too hard for everybody? Okay.
Okay, and Katie we had earlier,
Yeah.
she says she misses your colored hair.
Oh, I like my colored hair too.
They were clip-ons.
They were clip-ons. I'll do it again. I'll mess around with it. I was looking to actually do it, but you have to bleach it out first, dead white, and then you have to put the color on, and then it fades.
Oh, no. Don't change the hair color now. Doesn't her hair look great?
And then it might have been that Dave didn't agree.
I love that hair you got. Don't change it. Take it away from me. Speaking of that, everybody, hey, if you're anywhere near Sugar Grove Saturday night, see you at 7 over at Calamity Jane's.
Dave's band is going to be playing, and this is what's so exciting because you only see me from here up. Is that I haven't really walked or been out for a very long time, ever since August when I had an accident and crushed my pelvis and broke my leg. So it's my first time going out and having fun. So I'm actually going to be there. So if you can be at Calamity Jane's in Sugar Grove, he starts playing at 7, and they have good food, so you can come early and eat and then listen to him. And if you have to leave, you have to leave.
Right.
But come on by.
It's really good acoustic rock and roll from the 60s and 70s in pure perfect.
Oh, and one other
harmony.
thing, we're going to be having a meditation class as our psychic development and mediumship class. And it's a brand new kind of meditation that I've been exploring. And this meditation class is so cool because you don't have to blank your mind. You can just follow your breath, and you don't have, if you have monkey mind, no worries. We're going to teach you how to sleep better, feel better about yourself, heal yourself by just quieting yourself for about 5-10 minutes a day. So that's going to be Thursday from noon until 2.
Thursday, not tomorrow.
No, next Thursday.
That's right.
A week from Thursday.
February 2nd.
Yeah.
February 2nd, is it noon or 1?
It's from noon to 2.
Noon to 2, February 2nd, Thursday. And also a repeat of that class, Friday the 3rd, from 7 to 9.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
Meditation, man. I'll have to be quiet.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will.
Or I can teach them how to overcome obstacles. You just come in and babble, and we'll see if we can get them to not pay attention to you, just like I do.
Okay, cool. You're a master. Okay, Violet's next. She was born August 16th, 1952 in Conroe, Texas. Hello,
Conroe,
Texas.
Okay. Oh, Violet.
I love Texas.
This is really cool. Not just because of Texas, but because you have definitely some South American or Central American energy. So I would say that actually, I wrote down Mayan, but I see something else. I think it was, in those days they were called the Azteca. So the probably about 500 years ago, so around 1500, there was a movement then that we're just discovering now, and we're discovering that the Aztecs were early psychologists. So I think that one of your jobs as an Aztec, and I do believe you were male, was to explore and investigate the human psyche. So you might still feel that way now. You may be intrigued by how the human being works, about how life, the universe, and everything ties together. But your greatest thing is helping people to help themselves and feel better about themselves. You were the pioneer of that, of understanding that. And it had implications in the Aztec nation, because a happy balanced warrior was a happy balanced warrior, and you were going to be fiercer and better than anybody else. And so I think when people say they feared the Aztecs, it wasn't that they had superior weapons or that they were more fierce. It's just that they were very, very centered, and that centeredness came from the things that you discovered. So you're probably still discovering. This card, it says communicating freely, teaching people and yourself to communicate, to open up. And it's actually quite beautiful. It's a beautiful bird with all these beautiful designs. So that's like your mind, what it looks like. And so now you have to not hold back anymore. It's not something just to give to the emperor. It's something to share freely with everybody. And that's going to be very, very exciting. Okay.
All righty. Thank you, Violet. We'll get to that.
Okay.
All righty. Next up, we have, let's see, we have Sharon.
Okay.
March 20th, 1970, from Aurora, Illinois. Thank you so much, and blessings from Sharon.
Okay. Dave is going to play with the iPad right now.
Oh, no, just keep going.
Okay.
Just it might jiggle a little bit. Don't worry about it.
Alrighty. Sharon. Interesting. I see you in South Texas. So at that time it was probably Mexico. So in South Texas, you were one of the few women that were leaders. I guess you could say you were the leader of the gang, huh? You may still to this day have an affinity for people from Mexico. The current situation with our president and our leader may be difficult for you because you worry about the people around you. You were not, however, a kind, generous, gentle leader. I actually see you in a habit, so you might have been a nun, but you were one tough nun. You didn't put up with stuff. There were no banditos that got you. You could wield a shotgun with the best of them. You protected you and yours, and people treated you with great respect. Because of the details of this, you might be able to find yourself. And so it looks like it was around the 1812, something like that. I don't think that you were Native American at all. I just think you might have been Spanish and came as a missionary, but then went rogue. So right now, you might be defending others and defending yourself. It may be that you feel more powerless than you did then. That's really possible, because oftentimes very strong people come back and then they experience what it's like to be powerless. So let's see what your card says you're learning. Very cool. It says you're coming into your power. That's your job right now, to stand up for yourself. If you can't actually help someone, you can do the things that are necessary to point them in the right direction or to hook them up with people that are going to help them. It's very important for you. And when you do come into that power, it's going to be amazing, because it's as if a wonderful and amazing energy is going to turn on in your heart, and you're going to be just fine, and so are all the people you want to help. Take care, Sharon.
All right. Thank you, Sharon. We appreciate it. Bobby.
That's Bobby the rescue dog.
No, he's seeing his reflection, thinking he's seeing a ghost. Shh. Okay, Diane's next.
Okay.
All right, Diane Lynn, to be exact, August 24th, 1959, in Chicago.
Diane Lynn, this is weird, because I see it's like a stadium. Oh, rodeo is the word for it. Rodeo. So it's like a rodeo where a rodeo, I guess, is a form of circus that comes to town. And lots of exciting and interesting things happen. There's all kinds of contests, and people come to look at and connect with people who are very special at what they do. So I'm looking at like 1824, and I'm going to say probably Wyoming, which I think was pretty wild and crazy, but I think they did have tests of strength. And and this is really funny because I think you were Scottish. So maybe the Scots historically had tests of strength. So these tests of strength were a gathering together of the clans, and there were probably some Scottish settlers that came over, especially because of the war with England. So they came over to the United States. You were part of this clan, and the Highland Games. They just told me that's what they're called. So you can look them up, the Highland Games. And you were very, very adept at a specific thing. I think it was something to do with bows and arrows. And interestingly, I do know, and so this is this is Diane Palmer, right?
Diane Lynn.
Diane Lynn. Okay, Diane, I do know that you have a hurt shoulder. So
It's not Palmer.
It's not. Okay.
Okay, somebody else.
Okay, so Diane Lynn. I think you have a hurt shoulder. And for an archer, that would be difficult to have a hurt shoulder. There may have been a specific thing you wore. I don't know that much about archery, but there may have been a band you wore on your shoulder. But that greatness you had at being able to do this event or this sport is something that's still in your heart. So even if you are a person who, I guess what I'm trying to say is you have to be famous at something. You have to be really super good at something. It's in your nature to do this, and it's in your nature to do it despite all odds. So in this life right now, you might feel that you've been held back from connecting with your special talent, but let's see what you're learning here. It says you're learning to ask the angel and to receive from the angels, and they will give you your special talent. And the pink wings and the yellow dress means a way to be powerful with love, which is really pretty deep. But it's a way to be powerful with love, just the way you were powerful with your body back at those Highland Games in Wyoming. Okay, take care.
All righty. Thank you, Diane.
Wow, that was
We
interesting.
appreciate it, yes.
For me, it's so interesting because I can actually see it.
Wow.
I can see the people like with these Highland Games in the forests. They're like throwing trees or something. It was really interesting.
Cool. All right, next up we have another Sharon.
Okay.
This Sharon was born June 8th, 1944 in Gibson City. Is that Illinois or?
Yeah, I do believe.
Okay, well, Gibson City, USA.
Gibson City, USA. All right, Sharon. Okay. Oh, well, you have a different one. This is the year 800, and it looks as if you're working with herbs. You have to understand that at that time, and you're a woman, the woman who understood the medicinal value of herbs was the go-to physician of the time. And not only were you working with the herbs, but you were very well known by word of mouth. So people came, especially royalty came from all over the place because you refused to travel. You just went. So you might not like travel even to this day. You absolutely refused to travel. They had to come to you. And then one of the reasons was you couldn't pack up everything. Many of the herbs changed when you dried them. So some of them had to be fresh, some of them were dried. And you really had a vast trove of knowledge. You might want to look around to see if you can get some old herbology books, because I think if you read them, even some of your drawings might still be there. I do believe I read once where they found a trove of drawings, like up in Wales, that were amazing botanical drawings about herbs that don't even exist anymore. So you might want to look into that. But the bottom line is, you were a healer and you enjoyed looking at the different ways that people could feel better about themselves. So right now, no matter how you do it, you want to make a difference in people's lives. That's what that says, making a difference. So That's really interesting. Again, once again, it's never too late to make a difference. It's never too late to discover something and share it with someone, and make that difference. And telling yourself that back in the 800s, you did make a difference. I think probably some of the things you discovered were the basis for a lot of our pharmacology right now. Take care.
All righty, outstanding. Thank you, Sharon. We appreciate it. Next up, we have Mary.
Okay.
She says, oh, she's another one. So cool. Love past life readings.
All right.
August 10th, 1958. Okay, now I forgot which one this was. Is it Beloit or Beloit?
Beloit.
Beloit. I said Beloit last time, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
That's in Wisconsin. Did
That's
you know
because he's
that?
from
That's okay. There you go.
Okay.
She was born in Oak Park, Illinois.
Okay, Mary. All right. England. 1816. I think a place called Sussex, which is that's unusual to get an actual place. At that time, you were a gentleman, and you were a visionary, but you painted and were visionary with plants. To be able to plant a seed and vision what it would look like as a tree in 150 years, and to make gardens that wouldn't come into their full beauty long after your death, was an absolutely amazing talent that you had. You have that talent now, but one of the things you've been battling is that the talent, you're in a society now that doesn't appreciate that long view. As a matter of fact, I think a lot of people don't have a belief that everything's going to be around in 7 years, much less 700 years. So you're battling that instant gratification. So one of the things is communication, and I'm pointing to the throat chakra, communication about what your vision is. So a way to do it, I think, would be overlaying drawings. So in other words, this is where we are, and it looks kind of blank, and then this is where it'll be in another 2 years, and another 5 years, and another 100 years. Maybe on tissue paper or something like that. So you could impart the joy and the passion of your vision, and that same joy and passion can be imparted politically too. What I'm saying is the laws we make now, they don't just last for 4 years. The ramifications of what happens now lasts for a very, very long time. Not necessarily for the bad, often for the good, and we can't see it unless we do those overlays. So that's your talent, Mary, that overlaying of things and being able to see into the future. Honestly, I didn't look. This is planting seeds. So it says planting seeds. And it says that seeds of grace are being planted in the fertile soil of your soul. Okay, Mary, take care. Wow.
All right. Cool, man.
Cool.
All right, we're rolling right along. Then we have Keith.
Okay.
Keith was born September 27th, 1954 in Rockford, Illinois.
Okay, Keith. A word about past lives. You know, we always think lords and ladies and warriors and scientists and important people and the wonderful things that we were doing, but many past lives are just learning a lesson. And in your case, Keith, I see you watching a lady on a horse. So she's riding that horse, and you're looking at her with love and longing. I don't think getting together was a possibility. I think you were probably like a stable boy. I think we're looking at 1800s in India. So the person who you were looking at was really, truly out of your league. But that brokenheartedness and feeling as if you can't get where you want to go because you're being blocked by things beyond your control might still exist in your heart right now. And that's one of the things that is just not true. the love you felt for that woman, that the grace, the beauty, it infected your heart in a good way. It taught you that there was grace and beauty. To actually possess it isn't as important as realizing that it exists in the world. So that's one of the things you might want to accept now. And when you do accept that, then a whole great doorway will open up for you. This is, your card is Proceed Softly. And it says, the inner power grows in moments of being quiet. So all of those beautiful things you saw back in the 1800s are coming to the fore, and you're going to be able to use that vision to change the world to be a more graceful and beautiful place. Take care.
All righty.
All right.
There we go. Keith, good job, man.
Okay.
Doing the dudes. Doug from Winfield, Illinois.
Okay.
June 4th, 1970. Thank you, says Doug.
Okay, Doug. Civil War, South. So you were part of the, what were they called? The rebel troops.
The Confederates?
Yes, the Confederates. That's it.
All right.
And you were fighting for, your belief was that your way of life was threatened. So it may be that you have that same belief right now, that your way of life is going to be threatened. But this time, instead of stepping up to the plate, instead of demonstrating and instead of wanting to go to war, you have lost your faith in the system, I guess. You don't know that you would be able to make a difference, so you lost your heart. That means that you probably died in battle, and for those of you who might be veterans, battle is not a pretty thing. I had many, many visions of being in battles. You know, in the Civil War, there are some descriptions of the battlefield where the people would walk through the battlefield and the air would be filled with a mist of red blood because of the arterial wounds. Not something that we think about so much nowadays. So what you need to do is rediscover, Doug, your faith that you can make a difference. And let's see what your card says. And it says, soaring with joy. You have to understand that it's not being angry or aligning yourself to a cause. It's opening up your own heart to joy that's going to change everything for you. Okay, take care.
All
right. That
right.
was beautiful.
Cool. Thank you, Doug.
Okay, Doug.
There you go. Here, I'll do it for you, Amy. That was beautiful. Okay.
You know what? The reason I say that is because it's like a vision. It's like it's not mine. It just happens.
Yeah, I got you. Heidi.
Okay, Heidi.
Heidi, she was born. Heidi, I'm getting a vision of mouse ears. I don't know why. But anyway, it's Heidi, April 22nd, 1959. She was born in Youngstown, Ohio.
Okay. All right. Okay, Heidi. 1613. There's an island, and it's actually fortified. There's a wall that looks out over the sea. And this is how it works. The sea is actually a kind of a green-blue, which means it's probably semi around the equator, because as you go further north it gets darker and darker, like the Scottish seas and things where there are islands and fortifications are usually gray. So it's someplace that's a little bit more tropical. The problem is that you're waiting for something. You're on the wall and you're looking out. You're a woman, but I think just a girl, like 14, 13, something like that, although maybe they were a little bit older than a 13, 14-year-old is now. And you were looking out for something. I don't think it was like a lover, but I think you yearned for ships to come in and tell you stories. That's funny, isn't it? So I think you would be really a wonderful reporter, someone who would go out and find out stories and talk to actual people about the things that are happening in their lives. You might not be, you might do a bit of research on something, but then back it up not just with the dry research, but what actually happens to people when they've had those experiences. Uh, Experiential type of teaching, because you yearn for it. You yearn for new experiences, new things to come to you, but for whatever reason you weren't able to go to it. You had to wait. So maybe your life is that same way. Maybe you've been waiting. You haven't been able to go out and discover these things, but you sure can talk to people. And let's see what your card says. It's listening with your heart. So go ahead, take a subject, any kind of subject, research it, but then listen to the stories of others and listen with your heart, and that's going to unlock a wonderful new life for you. Take care.
All righty. Very good. Very good. Monica's next.
Okay.
Monica is excited about this reading. She was born December 15th, 1974, in Blue Island, Illinois.
Monica, Blue Island. I'm familiar. My dad used to work in Blue Island, and he used to take me down. When I went to Blue Island, it was like an adventure for me.
You know what's interesting about Blue Island?
What?
It's actually not an island.
Well, go figure.
Yeah, go figure.
Who
It's Illinois for you.
And Monica was far away from any kind of an island. Monica was in the mountains and may still be drawn to mountains today. This was a really long time ago, like the 1400s. And I do think that she was probably Mount Kilimanjaro. So you may have a real love for things Tibetan, or that mountainous kind of region. Let's see, 1400s, they would have been Mongols, so you might even have something to do with Mongols. You might not have ever even thought about it, but the Mongols are some of the most, the fiercest and the most loyal to each other people in the world. They believe in totally having each other's back. I mean, totally. And that's what makes them such fierce opponents. Even now, with the Red Chinese, they're the one province that, although the Chinese would say it's been conquered and taken care of, not really. So you have that kind of heart for freedom, and that's very interesting. So you have a warrior kind of a heart. In Mongolian society, women were equally fierce warriors as men. There was no stay home and make the babies kind of thing going on. So you might have a real feeling that you can do whatever you need to do. You might be upset that your friends don't have your back, and that you don't get the loyalty that you expect from everybody. But you can create that by having your own group of friends where everybody agrees. So let's see what the thing says right now. It says, look deeper inside of people for their majestic radiance. It's there, it's just buried. They just don't understand the necessity of loyalty. So when you look deeper, you're going to unlock the hearts of a lot of people. Take care, Monica.
All right. Thanks a lot, Monica. I think that's Elijah's one.
Good. Oh, wow, it's a good thing. Warrior, lion, Elijah.
Isn't that cool? Emily from Naperville, Illinois is next. She was born August 11th, 1997. She's a pup herself.
Okay. Emily. Emily, I see it's late 1700s. It says 17, well, they're giving me 1795. It's up in the area of northern Wisconsin. And you are a settler who left suddenly from Germany to come to the New World. You are very educated and have built quite a community for yourself, and it's coming up into the revolution, and you don't want anything to do with it. You're not, you really just want, you left to have no war. So one of the things about you is you understand when war is brewing in discontent, and you really want to have your own your own peace of mind. You want to create your own little world. So the fact is that we can't do that. The fact is that although how you look at things colors everything around you, we're still part of the world. Now we have this great international society, and we have to accept our part in the world, and we have to step up, and we have to actually do something. So let's see what your card says. It says, you don't have to be tied to the land, you can fly free. That's pretty deep, because what it means is what you build will eventually go away, but your freedom in your heart will never go away. And keep that in mind. Okay. There you have it.
All right. Thank you, Emily. We appreciate it. Dan is up next. It's Trucker Dan. He answered the thing. We were both right about Trucker Dan.
Okay.
He was an engineer.
Okay.
But then he drove a truck. He just drove a truck for a couple of years.
Okay.
But he said it was the most free he ever felt.
You know what the funnest job I ever had? I know this is going to sound really funny. I unloaded semi-trailers. I got in and picked the things up and handed them to people, or sometimes I was the person down on the other end of the table.
Oh, it was potted plants and things, right? Or
plants, yeah. So I absolutely adored that job, because I was in the best shape I was ever in. I was physical. You didn't have to really think about what you were doing too much, except where to put things. And it was very freeing, so I can understand why Dan would like to be a trucker.
All righty. Well,
okay.
we'll get you to work.
So, Dan, you're our first...
Dan from Santa Bernardino, California.
Uh-huh.
He was born October 24th, 1956.
Okay. So, I think I have a weird date, 1897. I think that you're our first Native American past life. It's a little difficult to say exactly what is a Native American. I mean, especially down south near Mexico, it gets confused with the indigenous Mexicans, as well as the indigenous North Americans, as well as the indigenous Eskimos. And I think that you came down from way far north. You were probably, this is going out on a limb, but Inuit, something like that. And then for some reason, they said to follow your vision quest, you came down along the coast and ended up down in Texas. That's a huge journey in the 1800s for a single person to have done that. So that's pretty amazing. And no wonder you would have taken to trucking and liked trucking, because you would have been able to move and to travel and to meet new people. At that time, there were some warrior chiefs, Sitting Bull, but this wasn't Sitting Bull. Probably you can look up Chief Menelito. He was a Navajo chief. I think you may have become an advisor to him. So to say that you rode with him isn't exactly right. I think you may have the wisdom of your travels. He may have taken you as somebody who would be a wise person. Now, he is a historical character, so you may be able to actually see yourself. You would have looked not Navajo. So you would have been there in the pictures with the person. You would have been different color skin, but not white. So the two things you want to look at is Inuit and Inuit philosophy. So you might even still have some of that in your heart. And then Navajo philosophy and how the two of them meld together. So there's going to be a little bit of research for you. But I think it will explain to you where you are right now. This is interesting. It says that right now you have to cultivate prosperity and stop wandering around. So that wandering is over, and now taking all of the knowledge that you've gathered, it's time to go ahead and be prosperous, to put it into motion so that it can honor you and your family, and then future generations, it can support them so they can go wandering. Okay, take care, Dan.
All right, thanks a lot, Dan. Next up, we have Ute.
Okay, Ute.
October 25th, 1953. She's from Lockport, Illinois.
Okay, Ute, let's see. There is I see a yurt, which is a kind of a conical house similar to our Native American tents, but it's larger and more stable, and it's in general you find them through Siberia and let's see, would that be Western Russia. So I see a yurt. I think that you were probably nomadic. I think that there's some, the other person who was a Mongolian, there's some evidence that the Mongolians, who are actually right up there around the Russian border, traveled into Siberia and central Russia, and they brought with them their religion, their technical things that they could do. And it's amazing because I can actually see you doing a ceremony outside the yurt welcoming the sun. So you have your hands up like that, welcoming the sun. So even though you might have come from a culture that doesn't honor that at all, you might have in your heart that thrum of the earth. So Native American things might really appeal to you, but they'd be off. So you might want to look at Russian shamanism, and not the kind that's been perverted by the USSR and the way they look at things, but some historical Russian shamanism, and also Mongolian spirituality. I think you'll really find that it'll really resonate with you. And then let's see here. This is, the card says, dwelling in the truth. So the truth of the matter, and this is the angel saying that you are magical, you were born magical, you have it in your genes, and you have to learn how to honor, and I mean honor. So it's not about using, it's about honoring the magic that flows through you. Take care.
Okay, thank you very much, dear. Okay. We're coming down to the last few.
Okay.
All right, everybody, if you just joined us, don't forget, of course, Amy is having a special running through the end of January. If you buy, or I should buy, I'd say, if you get an appointment with her for her special low price of only $40 for a half an hour or $75 for a full hour reading, and that's by phone, Skype, or in person in Oswego, Illinois. When you do that, if you get a half hour reading, you have your choice of this lovely chocolate bracelet. There you go, Amy.
He's showing it wrong. See, he has one of these little pull things. So it's very
make it
beautiful.
small, or
Yes.
you can make it bigger.
That's like for a big hairy wrist like that. Okay.
Or you can close your eyes, make a wish, and dream that coming true and sprinkle it into your life.
Woo.
With Amy's wonderful Dead Sea Mud Mask with coffee elixir.
So
It's
the
wonderful
point
stuff.
of it was to get it into more hands. Beautiful skin and a beautiful you makes for a beautiful life. That's just the way it
And
is.
there you go. So if you get a half hour reading, you get a choice of one or the other. If you get a full hour reading, you get both. And this is a 3-pack. There's 3 of these.
One for different chakras.
There you go. That's right.
Okay.
Okay, so anyway, the number behind her, 630-554-5040. You can call or text. Make your appointment today.
Okay.
Deborah's next. She was born November 3rd, 1959, in Trenton, New Jersey.
Oh, Deborah. No, let's see. Probably 1914, so a rather contemporary life. And you would have been famous. I'm thinking the word is on Broadway, but I don't exactly know what that looked like in 1914. But you were very well known. Maybe you were a singer. I mean, that's quite possible. And a household word. I mean, people really knew who you were, and you were involved in some of the first movies that were ever made. So this means that you can probably find yourself, which doesn't happen all the time, but in this case, you were one of the first females. I think the first movies had a number of men in them, but you were one of the first females in movies. And it was because you were very well known that you ended up in these movies. So right now, your life, if you are not in the limelight, it may make you cranky. Because you enjoy people paying attention to you. You enjoy having your opinions heard. You would enjoy writing long dissertations on things. But one of the things you're learning in this life is you have to let go of old viewpoints. a teacher of mine just recently told me that one of the things that's the worst for learning is knowing. So if you know something to be true, you're never going to learn anything about it. You just know it and then you file it away. So you know things, but one of the things you have to do is now you have to learn about what you know. Not to prove what you know, but to go in depth into it. And that's one of the things you're looking at right now. And then your card is starting fresh. So I think that's just absolutely beautiful because it says that you're going to bring all of the yin and the yang into what you know and understand things in a different way. Exciting.
All right. Thank you, Deborah. We appreciate it. Kathy's next. October 31st. She was born on Halloween, October 31st, 1966, somewhere in Canada.
Kathy with a K or Kathy with a C?
Kathy with a K.
Okay, and that does make a difference. Okay, Kathy with a K. Oh, this is unusual, Kathy with a K.
Does it make a difference if it's with an IE instead of a Y at the end?
Not so much. It's the first letter that sets the energy of it.
Gotcha.
The two end ones don't really make a difference.
Okay.
In your case, it may be that you had a past life that wasn't actually here on Earth. This is so rare that I don't really know how to talk about it, but you may have had a lifetime where you were able to look at Earth as a star. And it's a very different lifetime. You're wearing a kind of a white garb. I can't really see what your face looks like because it's more of a radiance around you. You have long, slender, white fingers. There are white flowers around you, but they look kind of like tubular. And in the background is a glass kind of a pyramid. Since you can see the Earth from where you are, you may have been on the moon, you may have been on Venus, definitely not something like the Palladians or one of those places people feel an energy towards. It was a kind of local as far as the galaxies go, because you could see the planet Earth, and one of the reasons that you knew where you were was because that particular star, the planet Earth, had a blue tinge to it, which I guess it does because we're so watery. On that planet, people valued education and learning above personal relationships. The more you could be innovative and put things together in different ways, like a sort of like a constant working a Rubik's Cube, the more you were valued because they wanted to know everything about a thing. For instance, when I teach meditation, oftentimes the people will tell me they see nothing, because I'll say, what did you see? They say, nothing. And I'll say, well, what does your nothing look like? And they're all taken aback. Is it dark? Is it light? Is it gray? Does it have texture to it? Is there sound in your nothing? Like that. So that's the way you know how to think. You know how to go underneath things. And in this lifetime, it's because you always yearn to see what was on this planet. So you came here, and at the one hand, you were really entranced and you loved it. On the other hand, the sensory aspect of our planet is very difficult for you. It's like too much going on. So you might like quiet more than noise. You might enjoy a get-together with one or two friends where maybe you go to do a thing, like listen to a concert rather than talking all over the place. This is going to change for you, so let's see how it's going to change. You're going to once again exceed expectations. I love that. You're going to go back to your old learning, and you're going to begin to put things together, look deeper into things, and come up with whole lists of things about things that other people already know for a fact is the way it is. Okay, you're going to come up with differences. You actually would have a great place in the computer world because you could see beyond just the everyday programming. You could be an incredible hacker or you could be an incredible builder. One way or another, you can see things that other people can't. So it's a very interesting lifetime, and you have an interesting mind. Take care.
All righty. Thank
Kathy
you very
with a
much,
K.
Kathy.
Okay.
Vanessa with a V.
Okay, Vanessa with a V.
April 21st, 1987.
Is
from
that close
Chicago.
to your birthday?
No.
No, not even close.
It's closer to yours than mine.
Okay, so my birthday's April 2nd.
I know, yeah.
Okay, so Vanessa with a V. There's an island off the coast of let's see, what is the name? Off the coast of Costa Rica, which is an island too, I believe. But I believe that you had a lifetime on that island. Not so much like there's dinosaurs there or anything like that, but on that island, there was a monastic group, and you were part of that monastic group. You were a young man at the time, and your whole job was to study the inner workings of man and how we reflect God. So in that lifetime, you might have had a very orderly way of dealing with life. Now, it's taking, in this lifetime, it's probably pretty chaotic because it's taking all those things you learned on that island and trying to put them into motion in our crazy U.S. world. So you might feel torn. At some point, you might think you can put order to things, and at some point, you might want to just hide. So let's see what your lesson is. It's go ahead and expect miracles. I like that. So that means that you're going to find a way through the chaos. You're going to find a way to find that inner peace and still operate in our world. Congratulations, Vanessa.
All righty. Okay. Our good friend Frank, who's
hobbling around.
He's hobbling around but recovering. And he's even closer to your birthday, April 7th, 1952, from Chicago.
Okay, Frank. In the, let's see, 1600s, which was one of those times in Europe when plague was moving through Europe, you were a physician. You were immune to the plague, which is very interesting. They say that the people who were immune to the plague had a deficit of red blood cells. That they hemochromatosis is what it's called. It's actually a genetic disease that can hurt you when you get older. It can hamper hemochromatosis. It can hamper circulation. So the plague germ does not like people without iron. So you didn't have any iron. You had very low blood iron. But you were able to wade in and help many, many people, and you were really famous. So you might want to look historically, some of the, I think they call them plague walkers or something like that, where they were able to go in where everybody else was dying and they were able to offer solace, but were troubled because they never got it. They wondered why, so you came here with this real need to know why. So you probably made your mother nuts asking questions about things. Let's see what it says here. So this says open your heart to love. That love is why. That it doesn't make any difference what the mechanism is. There's only one answer to all of your whys, and that's love. Deep, but there you have it, Frank. Okay, take care.
All right. Hey, Monica wrote back. She says, wow, I really do feel that I have a warrior in my heart. I'm so grateful for your time.
Yay, Monica.
Okay. Frank said probably my toes are leaving. That's it. Okay. Good for you, Frank. There you go. Keep up the laughter, buddy. Okay. Let's see. Hold on. I got to look this up here.
Hey, Frank, look up hemochromatosis. It might be what's been wrong with you. Look it up.
Okay. We have Justin.
Okay, Justin.
Who
Yay.
was May 20th, 1986 from Marcells, Illinois. He's got a note here. He says, I know I had a very positive past life. I was a very famous entertainer. I have dreams of me performing all the time and being around such great people, but every time I'm about to find out who I am, I wake up.
Oh, don't you just hate that?
I hate that. I hate it when Justin wakes up.
God, I know who he was. Oh my God. Oh, Jimmy Dean.
What?
Right. Not the sausage people. James Dean, the guy who got killed.
Yeah.
That's really cool. You were a famous entertainer. And honestly, if you look into his life, Dave is going, no, I don't think so. But I do think so. Because if you look into his life, the way he approached entertainment, and I don't know that he was musical, but I think maybe he was and we just didn't know. That's possible. I think you might want to read up on him and just see. What I see is that in past lives, just like when you wake up and you can't figure out who you are, your life has been continually, the story has been cut short. But this lifetime, I'm sorry, you're not going to have that luxury. This lifetime, you're going to live to be a ripe old age, somewhere actually over 100. So that means that you have to discover your passion. You can't be in the process of discovering it. Process is okay when you're young, but as you get older, it's better to be in it. So you have to discover that passion and be it, and it's absolutely okay to have it fail. Isn't that great? You can fail because you can then just reorganize and do it again and discover what that heartfelt thing is inside of you. And look up James Dean, even though Dave is going, no. Okay, standing firm. Isn't that funny? You can say that I'm going to continue even though I feel as if nobody's backing me and the odds are against me. I'm going to stand firm in knowing what it is I need to do. And then you reach that peak, and that's when you decide you don't want to do it anymore, not before you reach the peak. Keep that in mind, Justin. Take care.
Okay. One more reading. One more reading. Amanda.
Okay.
Let's see. May 29th, 1982 in Lockport, Illinois.
Okay, Amanda. There were a number of tribes here in this area, including where we're located, which is Oswego, which means by the river in Native American. Amanda, it looks like you were one of the Oswego Indians. They were a tribe actually that believed in healing. I mean, one of the things about Native American culture is we don't think about it so much here because we all intermarry and we all have dreams and we're individuals, but they had whole tribes that were dedicated as the central point for healing for all the other tribes. So if you were born into this particular guild, cult, tribe, then your job was to learn everything you needed to know about healing. And right here in Oswego was where the summer camps were, and the Oswego Indians would set up their healing grounds. So they use different kinds of waters. Right now you might be interested in things like flower essences, essential oils, stuff like that, because you would still carry over that deep need to understand how to heal not just yourself, but those around you. You would be very good, I don't think these exist anymore, but the angel just said apothecary store. So you'd be very good in putting things together in the way that is the most beautiful for you, okay? So let's see what the card says here. And it says, bring forth a new and dynamic energy into the world. Give birth to something new and wonderful to share with others. So that's what you're going to do. I'm excited for you. Take care, Amanda. And you saw me shake my head. As I was doing this, I realized that next week I want to do something a little bit different. I actually want to draw your chakra energy, and I want to do chakra readings, which is one of my basic readings that I do when you actually come to have a reading with me. So I want to do the drawings in real time and then show you the drawings. And I think I can do it quick enough to let you know where there might be some imbalances and what you can do to fix it. So it's going to be chakra essence readings, and you're going to actually see me draw the chakras. And Dave can show, we have many pictures of it. Dave can show some of the pictures. And then we can also take a picture of it, and you can write us, and we can text you the pictures, so you can have the picture.
Well, they'll have it on Facebook Live forever.
And you'll have it on Facebook Live forever.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, all right. Sounds great. Amy, great show.
Thank you, Dave.
Look what time it is. It is exactly almost 9 o'clock. You went 2 straight
love
hours.
You, everybody.
And you did around 39 readings.
39. Oh, my God. Okay. Well, we love you, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.